Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning into the Pet Expo YouTube channel. This is Barry, and we have some cool new reptiles that just came in today. The one that we're looking at right now is a captive bred, blue tongue skink. This guy, as you can see, is very, very tiny. This is an Indonesian species, so not getting as big as some of your other blue tongue species. Such as our next one that came in much larger. This is a Hamara Island blue tongue skink, so you can kind of see the size difference. And this one's a little bit more for size, but both these guys should have about a 40-gallon tank on the small side, full UVA UVB spectrum, and then a variety diet as omnivore, fruits, vegetables, along with carnivores, so meaty product also, crickets, roaches, and some people choose to feed them cat food. Next one we got is also a very cool lizard, but get very large. This is a hydrosaur, or a sailfin dragon. Now this is the Weberized species, so they kind of turn a black with a little bit of green, but these guys have very flat toes and a very flat tail that's made for swimming just like an alligator, and those toes are made for kicking and paddling too. So hence their name, hydrosaur. They're a great water lizard. Now these guys, I would recommend starting them out in probably a 75-gallon tank with a half water, half land situation, and then moving them into something much, much larger. Once again, they're going to get anywhere between 5 and 6 foot long. Our next ones are, of course, everyone's favorite little Chinese water dragons. These guys work great in an elevated 75, or one that's tipped up. And these guys are carnivores, but you can put live plants in there to help them. Let me focus in here. And these guys have a very nice coloration on them, and as you can see, handle very well. Very calm lizard. Now they get about 2 to 2.5 foot long. Really fun thing, since they are a diurnal lizard. You can kind of, if I can get it to focus here, see right behind his eyes, his pineal gland. That's a clear scale that's going to tell him day and night, and if anything's flying over top of him to try to eat him. Now these guys do like a little bit of humidity, but don't do too much, because at this size or a little bit larger, they can get respiratory infections quite easily. I guess he's going to stay on with us for a little bit longer here while we move on to our tortoises that we're soaking. These guys are our Russian tortoises, so about 8 to 12 inches full grown, so males will get a little bit smaller than the females. And these are one of our great beginner tortoises that we recommend, trying to keep them at anywhere from 85 to 95 degrees. And usually about a 40-gallon tank where you cover the sides so they can't actually see out. But these Russian tortoises, just like trees, you just count the lines on one of their shoots, and that will give you a rough estimate of the age of the actual animal. Now trying to get that water dragon off, finally got him off of my fingers. Now we're going to move into some of our fun tarantula species. This is a Colombian redleg. So these guys are much, much larger than our normal redlegs. There we go, kind of focusing in here. These guys did come in a little bit smaller. We'll take the lid off the other one. That one was a little fired up. If you can look back at that, you can look at his abdomen there and see that some of the hairs got shut off, where this one has a full haired abdomen, so he's not kicking hairs. But that is one of their main defenses, to just kick hairs out at you. And that can get into your eyes or into your respiratory system and cause quite a bit of irritation. Our next ones that we got in are kind of like our rose hair tarantulas. These are our curly hairs. You can kind of look at this guy and see just the long fuzzy look, almost teddy bear like, on our tarantulas. These guys also do kick hairs, but they're a very mellow tarantula compared to most others. These guys full size, anywhere from like 6 inches on females and about 5 on males. Great animals for pets, not too active, and once they get to know you, very unlikely to actually bite. And main diet for both our tarantulas are either crickets or cockroaches. The next ones we'll move to are our Kenya sand boas. We got a paradox, and the paradox markings on this snow are just the black splotches. Now these guys are very, very mellow, and as you can see, fed very well, quite chunky on these. Full size is about 18 inches, so about a 10-gallon to 20-gallon tank is more than enough for these guys when they're full grown. Next ones that we got in are also paradox, but they're the albinos. So I'll move over to these here. You can see the albino paradox there, just a little bit different in color, but once again those black spots are what's causing that paradox. Now these guys would be eating right now the pinkies, and we usually recommend aspen, and somewhere between that 90 to 100 degrees for temperature, but also let them have a place that they can go and cool off. So only the heat lamp on the one side. Now our next animals are our yellow belly pastel ball pythons. You can see the really bright coloration on this one. And slight yellow belly on them. Ball pythons are one of our favorites here at Pet Expo because they're one of the easiest snakes to acclimate to captivity and handling. We do have some more of those guys too. We'll kind of focus in on those while I get the other ones out. Will make great pets. An average lifespan is quite long compared to most any other animal. There's a group of our commons here. These guys can average about 30 years plus, and usually about a 40-gallon tank is more than enough for them. Feeding them once a week will keep them nice and happy and chunky. You can see all the little variants in there. It's hard to say that any of them are common anymore with all the varieties that are coming out. Our next ones that we got in are our true fire skinks. Put the lid back on these guys for right now so they don't try to go squirreling about. One more animal after these are true fire skinks. These guys are a little bit cooler skink, so don't try to keep them as hot. Mainly insectivore, but you do want to feed fruits and vegetables to these guys also. And you can see the really nice coloration on them. Kind of skittish still from shipping. Very beautiful coloration once again. And what's kind of attractive for handling these guys is that our skinks have very beaded scales, so very, very smooth feeling when you're handling them. Not so rough like some of your other lizards. And finally, our last one that we got in is our black roughneck monitor. Very, very cute little guy. He's checking out the camera, as you can see, tasting. He's got some great coloration compared to the last couples we got. Very, very yellow. But these guys are one of your more mellow monitors, just like your savannas, but a little bit more arboreal than terrestrial like your savanna monitors. And as you can see right on the back of his head, very, very rough back part of his neck. Very elongated toes where you can tell that he's going to have more of that arboreal or climbing ability. And as you focus in, he'll kind of taste the camera there. But very fun animal. Once again, mellow but carnivorous lizard. Good for almost anybody's collection that's ready for a big 4 to 5 foot animal. Now, if you have any questions at all at any of the animals that we got in, please give us a call at 507-625-2505. This is Barry from the Pet Expo YouTube channel in Mankato, Minnesota.